Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Neptune Sextile or Trine one's natal ascendant. Now, this transit could manifest in dreams, inspiration, idealism, sacrifice, fantasizing, and in harmony and agreement with your physical body and appearance. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. Now, it's not that it's a good time to just completely fantasize about what you want to look like and how you feel your physical body should appear. What it is it could be about attaining the ideals. A good time to do that. So with the physical body and in the appearance, how you want to look to others. I mean, if the ascendant is in a Virgo, Virgo rising, they often want to look flawless or infallible, and that's impossible anyway. But they may be able to get close to that perfect look for themselves as they can. Remember, perfection is subjective anyway. But the ascendant is in Leo, it could be a very flamboyant type of look and appearance. That stands out and attracts attention. As another example, Sagittarius could be very athletic type physique. And it's also a time when you have this transit, if you're doing things that require sacrificing or altruism, this is a time where you're more likely than not to have the vitality, physical energy, and stamina to do these things. And it's a time as well where you could be idealistic in what you can physically do without being unrealistic. I mean, if you're somebody, say you're a person that works out vigorously, and the most you can bench press is 350. You may, if you want attain something in the near future, for a new level, for a new maximum weight that you can bench press, you might set it for like 400 and say in 2 or 3 months maybe you can do it, as an example, instead of saying 500 pound, I'm going to go from 350 pounds maximum weight you could press, bench press to 500 pounds in like 1 week. That would be, I would say, even for the best bodybuilders, just a little bit unrealistic. But you understand what I'm saying. The thing about this transit too is about making what you fantasize about, what you want to, how you want to appear. It got a better chance of making it come to a reality as long as it falls in the realm of realism somehow. Now, this is also a time where you may be more idealistic in connection with your outlook on life. You'll have to be a little bit more positive on your outlook than usual, and you're more about letting things go, about being more forgiving, incorporating more compassion into that outlook. I would say more so than usual, and it can be a time where people that people that are spiritual or metaphysical, which includes astrology, might be beneficial to you as far as your outlook on life goes at this time. And it's also about having the right amount of idealism for new beginnings, to initiate new projects and endeavors. And the thing is, some people may wonder, well, what's really the difference between transit Neptune conjunct one's ascendant compared to transit Neptune sextile or trine one's natal ascendant? Well, they're similar, they're comparable. But the difference is that when you have the transit of Neptune making a conjunction to one's natal ascendant, it's more intensified, and you get a little, you could have a little negative in with that as well, because conjunctions, of course, are neutral aspects. You could have more, could be some dissolving and dissipation of the vitality. In some examples, it could be being very idealistic about what you can do physically, as an example, and what you can do energy-wise, but it can be unrealistic as well. So you'd rather really have the sextile or trine compared to the conjunction. And the thing about this is, again, going back to Neptune being connected with idealism, you could be more idealistic as far as what you can do, energy-wise, vitality, and whether you're working, construction or a general mundane job, or if you have you're working in some, it could be a high-tech field if you're working with computers, whatever it might be. This is the time where you could be more, idealistic about what you can do physically and about what you want to do in terms of new starts and beginnings at this time. And also, too, the ascendant is also connected with a grandparent and the early childhood. It could be people that were prominent in your early childhood. So it's a time where, if you were embroiled in some problem with somebody, an argument or dispute that's gone on for a protracted time with someone from your early childhood, this might be a good, auspicious time to be forgiving, to surrender, so to speak. I don't mean like surrender like, in the military, or how you have countries literally surrendering to others. I mean, just be willing, to be the better person and say, okay, I can move forward. I'm sorry for whatever I did, and things of that nature. But it's also a time where it's about sacrificing the right amount of, for what you can do for those people, for a grandparent, for someone that was prominent in your early childhood. And it's also a time where you could have the right amount of inspiration, to make that good first impression, and about being, again, idealistic, about doing so without being necessarily unrealistic. Especially, let's say, if you're trying to, you're applying for some new position, and you're looking for a new job, or you're trying to make a good first impression, say on somebody, it could be a potential, say, I guess it would be father-in-law, if it's a father or parent, mother of somebody that you may potentially marry. This is, that time where you feel that you be able to do this and have that right amount of inspiration, and being idealistic without being unrealistic regarding that. And this is a time as well where, I'd say Neptune connected people, people that are in fields that are associated with Neptune, would be more compatible than they would ordinarily with your outer demeanor, the qualities that you naturally express, which is the ascendant. And, the thing is, if the ascendant is Taurus, it could be very, just stolid, or very stable energy, loyal, being very loyal, trustworthy, steadfast, having, that calming influence, that calm energy. Those are, that could be, that example. And it's also a time where it can be about attaining things that you felt you dreamt about, that you dream, not necessarily dream, sleeping dream when you're unconscious, but things that you fantasize about, what you can do, what you can attain as far as for yourself, for self-interest at this time. It can be a very propitious time for you to do that. And now, anyway, now another way this transit could manifest, it could be about having that inspiration, right amount of inspiration, which is Neptune. And it could be to start, new endeavors, and new beginnings, of course, is associated with the ascendant. Going back to the ascendant in Virgo as an example, it could be a new beginning connected with organizing or cleaning or diagnosing things, or it could be some, statistical analysis, extrapolating data as some examples. Another thing too, another way this transit could be expressed, it could be about the dreams again, which is associated with Neptune. It's something that you have, that right, amount of vitality and energy for, which is the ascendant. If the ascendant is in, Libra as an example, it could be doing, maybe something with fashion design, or being a diplomat. It could be an artistic endeavor such as drawing, painting, or sculpting. Could be working as a mediator, or an arbitration, as some other examples. And this is also a time where, again, going back to Neptune, related people could be more in harmony and agreement with that side that you naturally express, which is the ascendant. Now, let's say, for example, if the natal ascendant is in Pisces, it could be very idealistic, compassionate, altruistic, forgiving, sacrificing side. in the qualities that you naturally express. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back, but anyway. It could also be a time where it's positive for escaping, so to speak, which is Neptune. For, you could say, self-centered, this is the ascendant interest, things pertaining to the self, self-interest in general. Now, let's say if the ascendant is in Leo, as an example, it could be doing something with sports, partying, entertainment, as some examples. And could also be a time where you could be idealistic without being unrealistic, and that's Neptune, and what you can physically accomplish, and physically what you can do is associate with the ascendant. Now, if the ascendant is in Aries, as an example, it could be doing something with combat sports, or welding, or carpentry, or firefighting, and there's another thing too, is that this could also be, again, going back to reiterating what I was stating previously, it could be auspicious for sacrificing, which is Neptune, for a grandparent or someone that was prominent in your early childhood. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.